If you've ever wondered where the highest end homes in Maine are actually located, this will surprise you. Portland has a few obvious luxury pockets, but the real ultra premium properties, the ones that set record prices, show up in a handful of very specific neighborhoods. And one area in particular has some of the strongest appreciation patterns in the entire state. So let's get into it. What if the most attainable luxury coastal living in Greater Portland starts at about 1/3 the price of comparable properties in other corridors? That's Scarborough. This is Portland, but not Portland. And that positioning creates serious value. Scarborough sits about 7 miles south of Portland, which means you get urban access without the peninsula constraints. You can be downtown in 15 minutes, but you're living in a sophisticated coastal community with actual space. That's the thing. Space. Right now, the median luxury listing price hits the low $1 million range. That's way higher than Greater Portland's overall median, but it also is the most attainable entry point to coastal living at this level. You get ocean access, beach proximity, and updated finishes without the 3 to 5 million barrier you see in other coastal areas. But here's the reality. Scarborough isn't just one market, it's actually several distinct luxury submarkets, and the price differences are massive. Prout's Neck represents the ultra high-end segment. This is a gated, seasonal summer community on a private peninsula where homes regularly trade from $5 to $10 million. No joke. And let me tell you, most of them never hit the open market. But wait until I show you how the legacy value in Kennebunkport runs on brand recognition that even Prout's Neck can't match. But first, let me finish with Prout's Neck. These shingle-style estates, designed by John Calvin Stevens, sit above a rocky coastline, with the Winslow Homer Studio right there as a National Historic Landmark. So let me show you what the current inventory looks like. 33 Massacre Lane is listed at $9.5 million. 11 Sacrappa Lane is in the high 3 millions. These aren't new builds, this is completely built out where land is basically unavailable, which creates scarcity pricing that pushes premiums way higher than the Mainland Scarborough. Now the Mainland Scarborough is a totally different value play. New luxury construction in spots like Paulson Drive range from the mid-low millions to the high 1 million range. These are coastal builds with elevated finishes, open layouts, and new systems. What does this mean for you? You're getting a big, comfortable home on a decent lot close to the ocean, and you're still in that attainable luxury coastal living lane. And I see this every single day. Buyers coming up from Boston or New York who want Maine coastal living access without the $5 to $10 million commitment. Scarborough gives you choices. You want a gated peninsula estate with National Historic Landmark status? Prout's Neck. You want a coastal modern build with ocean access and Portland proximity without the ultra premium price tag? Look on the Mainland. Scarborough does that, period. But here's what buyers need to understand about this spot. The luxury market here runs on totally different fundamentals than the overall county median. Cumberland County's median sale price hit $620,000, up 10.7% year over year. But the ultra luxury segment, properties over $2 million, moves on its own. Around 40% of luxury purchases are all cash, which insulates these markets from mortgage rate swings entirely. When you're shopping at this level, you're not competing with rate-sensitive buyers. You're competing with cash buyers who decide based on waterfront quality, architecture, and legacy value. So if you're targeting coastal living in Greater Portland, Scarborough gives you the widest price range of any luxury corridor, from the low millions to 9 million plus, depending on how much exclusivity you actually want. Which brings us to a completely different coastal experience. Now listen, if you're seriously considering property at this level in Greater Portland's luxury corridors, I work with buyers chasing waterfront estates, deep water access, and architectural significance every single day. And I can help you understand what you're paying for at each price point. My contact info is down in the description. Next up, we've got the Falmouth Fourside. This is one of the highest priced coastal corridors in Maine, and the reason has everything to do with infrastructure most buyers don't even think about. And I'm not talking about suburban Falmouth. This is an 8-mile stretch of Route 88 that hugs the Casca Bay coastline, and it functions like Maine's most established nautical community. Here's what differentiates Falmouth Fourside. It's an untraditional waterfront suburb that actually stays alive year-round. Unlike typical summer colonies that basically shut down after Labor Day, Falmouth Fourside stays active all winter. People use trails, they use the ice skating facilities, and you've got the region's largest recreational anchorage north of Marblehead. Now, let me show you what drives premium pricing here. Direct ocean access, yacht club proximity, protected shoreline, deep water mooring capacity for big vessels, choices. The Portland Yacht Club, established on April 26, 1869 accommodates yachts up to 59 feet with deep water moorings, and it offers reciprocal privileges to visiting members of recognized yacht clubs. Handy Boat provides over 50 transient mooring rentals for vessels up to 65 feet, plus a full-service boatyard staffed by techs trained through the landing school. That's real infrastructure, not just a vibe. And what this means for you is simple. If you own a yacht or a boat, Falmouth Foreside actually delivers the mooring capacity, maintenance options, and maritime culture that other coastal towns just can't match. And I see this every single day. Buyers don't realize how rare that is until they compare it to other corridors. Current luxury inventory ranges from the low millions to 8 million plus, depending on shoreline quality and dock setup. And that range is huge. Let me give you some specifics. This home right here is sitting at 3.95 million. New construction on Hillside Avenue is listed in the high twos. When you get to Cape Elizabeth Shore Road corridor, you'll see how a dramatic clifftop positioning creates a totally different premium structure. Now, established luxury homes on Waits Landing Road and Falmouth Foreside are usually in the high 1 millions at the lowest to the low 3 and 4 million range. But there's a critical distinction. The premium waterfront segment, the homes with direct ocean access and protected deep water moorings, that's where the market really separates. Those trades land in the 3 to 8 million range. That's where you're paying for shoreline quality, yacht club proximity, and the ability to dock a real vessel at your property. So Falmouth Foreside is a complete nautical lifestyle setup that lets you keep a yacht, access protected water, and plug into an established maritime community. But dramatic coastal settings take a totally different form just south. Cape Elizabeth, the iconic shoreline estate sitting on clifftops with totally open ocean views that just stretch forever. That's not marketing talk, that's literally what you see from Shore Road. This is Maine's most visually dramatic luxury market. Iconic cliffs, lighthouses, huge panoramic frontage, and an architectural showcase that validates Cape Elizabeth as one of Greater Portland's premier coastal corridors. The reality is, it looks like a postcard, but it trades like a serious luxury market. The Shore Road corridor defines the luxury market here. This isn't a suburban neighborhood, it's a collection of custom estates sitting on dramatic clifftop sites with unobstructed ocean views, and it's a very specific buyer profile. Right now, luxury inventory spans from the low millions all the way up to $15 million. Let me show you what that stratification actually looks like. Entry-level luxury shows up in the low millions, but when you move to the premium waterfront segment, pricing jumps fast, and that jump surprises people. 1200 Shore Road was recently sold after listing at $5.7 million. It sits on 15 acres with 200 feet of private beach frontage. This is a 2019 built estate, and it represents the experience-based luxury Cape Elizabeth delivers. You're not buying a view, you're buying the whole setup. Ultra high-end inventory includes 55 Zeb Cove Road, which sold in September 2025 for $13.4 million after listing at $15 million, and 41 Old Mill Road listed at $5.8 million, both offering big oceanfront estates with architectural significance and substantial acreage. Now, beyond the homes themselves, Cape Elizabeth has infrastructure that makes the coastal lifestyle feel complete, and it matters more than what people think. Fort Williams Park gives you 90 acres of landscape ground surrounding Portland Head Light, the most photographed lighthouse in America. Crescent Beach State Park gives you a mile-long sandy beach with lifeguard-supervised swimming in the summer, and the Cape Elizabeth Land Trust maintains trails through protected coastal habitats. So when you're shopping in Cape Elizabeth at the $5 to $15 million level, you're not simply buying a house. You're buying oceanfront acreage with architectural significance, protected beaches, and a community that values historic preservation and environmental stewardship. That's the reality. But there's another coastal option that delivers exclusivity through geography, not cliff views. Yarmouth, North Yarmouth, the suburban alternative. Now let's talk about the Yarmouth corridor. This corridor gives you high-end suburban alternatives to Portland's urban core, and it's delivering something really unique in the luxury market. You're getting coastal access, marina proximity, and quiet residential pockets, all without the premium you'd pay for direct ocean exposure in Falmouth Foreside or Cape Elizabeth. Let's talk about the village. Pratt's Landing is the historic waterfront heart of Yarmouth. You've got a working waterfront district with boutique shopping, locally owned restaurants, and the New England coastal charm that feels authentic because it is. Yarmouth Marina sits over there and has full-service boatyard capabilities, diesel and outboard repair, fiberglass services, and marine electronics. So you're getting real marina access, not just a view of the water. And the residential streets surrounding the village, quiet, tree-lined. You're looking at luxury colonials and classic New England architecture on established lots. This is where you find that quiet residential pocket feel that's hard to replicate closer to Portland. Mainland Yarmouth pricing is more accessible than the islands. 9 Newell Road is listed in the mid to high million range. Now let's move inland to North Yarmouth and the Royal River Corridor. Here's what makes this area really interesting. You're getting architect-designed new construction and custom contemporary builds on larger parcels than what you'd see on a typical Portland lot. For example, Town Farm Road new constructions range in the low millions to mid 1 million range, and that's basically the entry point to the whole luxury corridor. Now the Royal River Corridor in Yarmouth gives you protected waterfront, and you're not staring at those $5 to $10 million price tags you'd see with direct oceanfront estates. The winning combination is acreage, privacy, and riverfront access. Buyers targeting this corridor are choosing space and architectural significance over peninsula proximity. They're fine with a slightly longer commute to Portland because they're getting larger lots at lower price points. But if you want the top of the market in this corridor, that's Cousins Island. Cousins Island is a private island community in Yarmouth with a deep water coastline. And here's what nobody's telling you. New construction is impossible out there. There just isn't any land to build on. And that scarcity creates pricing dynamics you don't see on the mainland. Current listings on Cousins Island range in the mid 5 millions to high 6 millions. For example, 60 Hamilton Way hits the mid to high 6 millions for a 4-bedroom, 7-bath estate. What are you getting for that? Deep water shoreline, custom architecture, and that privacy that comes with island living. That's scarcity pricing. So here's the breakdown. If you want village charm with marina access and quiet residential streets, Pratt's Landing and Mainland Yarmouth deliver that in the mid 1 to 2 million range. If you want new construction with acreage or riverfront access, North Yarmouth or the Royal River Corridor in Yarmouth can deliver that anywhere from the $1.2 to $3 million range. If you want island exclusivity with deep water coastal access, Cousins Island delivers that in the $5 to $7 million range. And I see this every single day. Buyers choosing this corridor are trading peninsula proximity for price, privacy, and waterfront access at lower entry points. But Maine's most recognized luxury brand operates on totally different fundamentals. I'm talking about Kennebunkport. This is Maine's most recognized luxury destination. Legacy value and brand recognition drive pricing here beyond even the coastal corridors close to Portland. Kennebunkport sits outside of Greater Portland proper, but it's part of Maine's most established luxury corridor, and it pulls from the exact same ultra-high net worth buyer pool as the other areas I've covered. Ocean Avenue is the luxury corridor, where St. Anne's Church and the Bush compound create a level of prestige that honestly is hard to replicate. Right now, luxury inventory runs from the mid to high 3 million range to $12 million plus, depending on the acreage and how close you are to the Bush compound or the ocean. And yes, proximity matters a lot. Let me give you a specific example. 168 Ocean Ave is listed for $5.49 million. It's a 5,600 square foot estate, has ocean views and historic significance going back to 1897. The property sits on 0.42 acres of prime Ocean Avenue frontage, which shows you how these legacy locations command premiums no matter how big the lot is. 260 Ocean Ave, a 7-bed, 6 full-bath estate directly across the street from the Bush compound, commands weekly rental rates of $35,000. Let that sink in. And what does that imply? A property value well into the 8-figure range. The 14 square foot home sits on 60 wooded acres, and that's one of the largest private parcels in Kennebunkport. That's not normal. That's Kennebunkport. So what this tells us is simple. Kennebunkport's luxury market runs on brand recognition and luxury value that exceeds even the coastal corridors close to Portland. Ocean Avenue estates concentrate in the mid to high 5 million to 12 million range, and properties at that level rarely hit the open market. You've also got real lifestyle infrastructure here. The Kennebunkport Marina gives deep water access for big vessels, Dock Square gives you boutique retail and fine dining, and the Arundel Yacht Club, founded in 1957, has reciprocal relationships with elite clubs up and down the eastern seaboard. Kennebunkport is not for buyers chasing Portland proximity or urban accessibility. It's for buyers chasing Maine's most established luxury brand. These 5 corridors represent the complete luxury market geography around Portland. Anything claiming ultra luxury status outside these areas is marketing and is simply not real. So if you're targeting property in any of these luxury corridors right now, email me, which is on the screen right now. I'll show you what's actually available and help you understand the trade-offs between these spots. Now, if you want to know more about Portland's biggest mega projects, the video I've linked here shows you exactly how $1.5 billion in active projects is reshaping the entire market and what it means for these property values in these luxury corridors. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.